So I'm so excited about your new show, Containment.
I'm excited too. Thank you.
Tell me, give me kind of the basics when we come into this world. Where are we, and what do we see going? Kind of in the first season, a general tease.
Sure. So this season in the series is very simple. It's the city of Atlanta. It's a virus that has been released through unknown origins, and it is the job of the feds and the cops to contain it, to make sure it doesn't spread. But in doing what they need to do to contain it, they put a quarantine zone up in the city, and about 4,000 local Atlanta folk are trapped and unable to go anywhere for what first should be just 48 hours and then turns into a whole lot more.
That can probably cause some drama.
It's definitely good for drama. I mean, you have people who have been torn apart. You have relationships, one on the outside, one on the inside. You have a pregnant teenage girl whose mother is on the inside with her, desperate for her to give the baby up for adoption. Of course, you can't give anything up anywhere if you can't get out. And then her boyfriend, who's very much ready to be a father and wanting to make the best of it, struggling to get in. There is, a doctor who's one of the very few doctors who are research scientists stuck inside a hospital under lockdown, desperate to find anything that can work as treatment or a cure. And then there's the entire CDC and the federal government on the outside sort of saying, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this work?
Yeah, I was going to ask about the CDC because they're based in Atlanta, yes?
The CDC is based in Atlanta, and they were fortunate enough to not be trapped inside the cordon sanitaire. Thank God. Although, maybe there's, it would be comforting to know that the experts are the ones that need to get out the most. But no, they, weirdly enough, where they're located is actually super residential, and so it wouldn't have been realistic to put them into the middle of the city.
Yeah, that doesn't make the most sense. Yeah. That's true. And I'm curious, this series, from what we've seen teased so far, it's a lot of adults, and CW is historically not the show for adult series. Was that a deliberate decision, and how does that affect being on the CW, I guess?
I think it's kind of cool in that I didn't write this to be on the CW, and the CW fought very hard for the right to broadcast it, and I said, look, I love you, I would happily work for you again, but I don't want to change anything to fit something that you think your network needs to be. And if you want to make something new, then let's do it. And they were very open, and they said, okay, let's go at it, and let's see. We love the idea of putting shows on the air that people talk about and that are new and different, that we can get people excited about this network in new and different ways. So that's the hope, is that that'll work.
Yeah, it's exciting. Change is always good.
Yeah. I mean, Mark Pedowitz has such great taste, and his thing is so much about, I just want to put on television that people are going to talk about. He's like, I don't care if it's a superhero show or a lawyer show, as long as it's the kind of thing that gets the audience really excited, really invested, really passionate, because if they're talking about us, then we're doing our jobs right, And I think that with all the shows they have on the air right now, they really obviously, have a very vivid fandom and social media presence, and and very extremely loyal audiences. So I'm hoping that we can benefit from that too.
Absolutely. They have such a variety, I feel like, of genre shows. But this strictly seems there'll be characters and character drama and relationships, but it's medical. Will we see any kind of supernatural aspect to this, or is it strictly, like a plague?
The fun of this is that even though it's on a network, which has, of course, the big superhero shows and the vampire shows, there's absolutely nothing supernatural about this at all. It's very real world. But the real world circumstances are so extreme that it feels almost like they're real and literal monsters in this show. It's just the monster is a virus, and the way it gets you is it ravages you from the inside out. And so death is not kind if you are unfortunate enough to be exposed to this thing. So there's some great genre elements to it, which I really love, some good horror in it, but it's also very character driven and really full of relationship stories and heart and soul and the kind of themes I like to work with in my other shows.